Nick Estes here, and today I want to talk about 5 mistakes that you should avoid when you're starting out flipping houses. All right, I want to talk about 5 things that you should avoid when you're starting out flipping houses. First, I just want to say that we all make mistakes, so don't get discouraged. I've been doing this 15 years now, and I'll tell you right now, I still make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's part of the learning curve. If you're out there hustling, you're out there moving fast. Shit happens. Just learn from those mistakes and move on, okay? Use this as a learning experience to grow yourself and better yourself so you don't do it again, and you'll be that much farther ahead, okay? So going right into it, number 1, okay? Overestimating the ARV or the after repair value, okay? So we all get hung up on this. We get a deal, we think it's worth $1 million, okay? But you really gotta be realistic about this and really understand what the comps are saying and how to calculate the end value. Now, if you have any questions on this, I do have another video that explains this very, very well of how to calculate the end value of a project or the ARV of what it'll be worth when it's completed. Okay, so make sure you check that out. That's mistake number 1, is people overestimate what they think the house is gonna be worth when it's done. Now, the other problem with this is, when you do that, sometimes you end up overpaying as well, right? You make your money when you buy in this business. So if you think the house is gonna be worth a lot more than it really is when it's done, chances are you could be overpaying as well. So really pay attention to your numbers, really understand what a home is worth, what you can buy it for, and what it's worth when it's fixed up. If you have any questions about that, make sure you check out one of my other YouTube videos that really explains that process, okay? That's number 1 mistake that I see a lot. Okay, number 2, not having a contingency fund, okay? So what I mean by this is when you're rehabbing a house, when you're flipping a house, you always have to figure in a little bit extra on your budget. On my spreadsheet that I have available that you're welcome to download, I always estimate extra 10% in there. Now, so say I think that, the repair cost and the house is worth, I'm gonna have $200,000 into it. I like to try to figure an extra $20,000 into this, just in case something goes wrong. You never know when you're flipping houses. Things come up. You might not realize that there's an electrical issue, or there's a foundation issue, or whatever it may be. Now, these might be funds that you might not use, and hopefully you don't use, but you want to have this available, okay? And you want to estimate to have this just in case. You want to have that cash on hand, because you never know, and you don't want to be caught, with your pants down. You get into a situation where you're out of money, and you can't complete the project or whatever else reason because you didn't figure in a little bit extra into your budget. So make sure you figure that in. If you don't use it, great, but have it available and always kind of have that in the back of your mind that you might have to use this, all right? So figure in a contingency fund, very important. Number 2, okay. Number 3 thing I see is people, when you're doing this, obviously you want to save as much money as possible. People are taking on too much responsibility in this project and maybe trying to do more than they should, right? If you're not an expert, if you don't have construction background, if you don't have construction knowledge or experience, you really shouldn't be doing a whole lot on these projects, right? You wanna make sure you hire a very capable and experienced general contractor that can run the project for you. Yes, I get you might be trying to save a little bit of money here and there by doing some things yourself, but you do you have the risk of, screwing something up, right? Or just cutting corners when you do something yourself. And what's gonna happen when you do that is you run the risk of not being able to sell the project, or buyers can see when things are half-assed, right? So make sure that you're doing things correct and you have a capable general contractor that can get the project done for you on time and on budget, all right? So don't try to take on more than you should. It's number 3. Number 4, okay, same thing, over-improving the property, right? Don't be putting high-end finishes into a neighborhood, not into a high-end neighborhood, right? So pay close attention to the comps that you're doing and what the home's gonna be worth, and really look at the finishes, what the other homes are worth, and what they have are finishes. You don't wanna overdo it, right? You don't need to put, high-end cabinets and countertops and, exotic flooring into a house that's gonna sell for, you know, $200,000, right? Don't be overdoing it, and because you're not gonna get your money back. So really pay attention to the comps and what other homes have, right? I understand they wanna make it nice, and I always try to make my houses as nice as I can, but it's very important you understand how much money you're spending. So don't overdo it. We all get in the predicament where we wanna make this house the nicest you can, right? Which is great, but you wanna make sure you get your money back. That's the name of the game here, right? You're in this to make money. You're not in this to design the most elaborate house in the world, okay? Make sure that what you spend, you're gonna get money back on, okay? And number 5 is underestimating the completion time of the project. Same thing, we wanna get these projects done just as fast as possible so we can get our money back and we get paid, you know, we can reinvest this money. I get that, same thing, you know, with all this, we think that, you know, we're gonna get it done in a month. Unrealistic. Really have a timetable from your contractor and really know how long it's gonna take to get these projects done, okay? Same thing, and always have a backup. I always like to estimate an extra month or 2 just in case, because you never know. Things come up, things can go wrong, all right? So make sure you figure in an extra month or 2 onto your project just in case. And once again, if you're hiring a good contractor, and you're gonna hold this person responsible, and hopefully they can stay on track and on budget, all right? So let's go over this one more time, the top 5 things that I have for you, okay? Overestimating the end value, okay? Not having a contingency fund. Make sure you figure an extra 10% just in case something comes up. Taking on parts of the project that you know you shouldn't be doing. Make sure you hire a good contractor that can do the project for you. 4, over improving the property, putting in high-end finishes that you don't need to do, that you won't get your money back on. And number 5, time frame. Make sure your time frame is realistic of the time frame it's gonna take to fix up that project and sell it, all right? Now, you're gonna see one common thing in all this, right? Is I'm kind of overdoing over this, overestimating, having contingencies in there. And if the deal still makes sense after you figure in all this extra stuff, you have a really good deal. You have a really good project on your hands, right? So you wanna make sure that. So do not do skinny deals, is essentially what I'm saying by this. Make sure you have a contingency, make sure you're overestimating everything, something can go wrong, and if you still have a good deal, the numbers still make sense, you have a great project on your hands, right? Don't do skinny deals. If you found this helpful, if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Make sure you subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at Nick Estes to stay up to date with what I'm doing every day. And to get a little bit more information about any of these videos or ask me questions, make sure you join my group. We have a lot of good conversations in there. It's Mastering Wholesaling and House Flipping with Nick Estes. That's my Facebook group, and I hope to see you there. And I'll see you on the next video.